There's so many good ones. When I lived in California by myself for a couple of years, and so when I finally got to go home and see my family, it had been so long and I'm very close with them. Getting off the plane and just having my whole family waiting with like big signs and just kind of taking me in their arms and just a big group hug was honestly one of the best moments of my life, and it was a phenomenal time. I was in tears, I was bawling, so was my mom and dad, and it was so great to see them. Just because with COVID and everything, I hadn't been able to go home at all, and so it had been a phenomenal experience.
My most cherished memory, I have a lot of them. Let me tell you what happened today. A group of people came up to a place where we were having a gathering, and they were from my hometown, and they remembered me after 50 years of my playing football and sports and things like that. It really gave me a really good feeling to have somebody remember you after so long. Well, I played running back. I have one of those great touchdowns where you run 99 yards that nobody can ever break. So I am really proud about that. Nobody can ever break that record.
My most cherished memory is probably when I went to the Outer Banks for the first time. It was my first time really seeing a beach that I was old enough to remember going to, and I got to see just different beach life. I got to go hang gliding for the first time. It was right before I graduated high school, and I had a lot of questions, so being at the beach kind of made me feel free.
It was a trip I did with my dad. We did a road trip to Canada when I was young. I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and hit the road and beds in the back and no plan at all. We saw Niagara Falls. We stayed in cabins and went fishing, and it was just a great time. And just having no plan and just going out and having a destination and goal. It was such a great time, and probably never forget the experience with my dad.
My 8th birthday, and I remember that because it was Star Wars themed. When I was younger, I thought that was the coolest thing ever, and that's just stuck in my mind for, all these years. So
my whole life, my most cherished memory. We went on a trip to Hawaii when I graduated from high school, and I cherish those memories a lot. Just a good time spending time with family. It was a very beautiful place. Not that we don't live in a beautiful place right here, but it's just different. Pretty warm. The temperature was nice. It was just very fun. Breathtaking views. Just good time.
Oh my gosh. My most cherished memory. Probably finishing my first marathon. That was like the biggest thing I've ever done my whole life. And I was like, I can't believe I just did that. Yeah, it was horrible. I don't think I'm ever going to do it again. But I was like, let's go.
My most cherished moment. When I seen my kid born. They say it changed you when you see kids born. And when I first saw my first kid born, it was like, before, I was like, yeah, you're just talking. When you see them, it's like, wow. I actually have two. That and when I first saw the ocean. Can't tell between the ocean and the sky. Those are two cherished moments. I think the most change was, God gave me another chance. Well, when I was younger, I had my first kid when I was 21. Before then, I was wild. I was in the streets, I was doing crazy things. And then when I had my first kid, it's like, okay, now you have to settle down. You got some responsibilities, because they looking up to you. I changed a lot behind that.
Damn. Deep right off the bat. Most cherished memory. Can you think of any off the rip?
Probably that first time where we hung out as friends.
That's probably
drinking for the first time.
That's probably what I was thinking, is like the birth of our little friend group.
Yeah.
It's not something many people have, is as many solid friends as we do.
Yeah.
Try and take that for granted. We all kind of grew up around the same neighborhood and went to the same school.
Yeah.
And then just by chain of events, we all just...
Yeah, you hit 16, someone gets their driver's license, start driving, we start expanding, getting that bit of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Just experiencing that together.
Yeah. Do whatever you want. I'd say that's probably, getting probably the beginning of the friendship of all the friends I have today is probably one of my most cherished moments.
Your bachelorette weekend?
Oh, no. I would probably say with
My grandmother. So growing up, she was probably one of my best friends. I just remember all the endless sleepovers we would do over at her house on the weekends. So, yeah. Really good. She would always have cute little nicknames for me and my brother. And, you know, looking back now, she's passed on, but looking back now was something that was really special.
One of my most cherished memories, I think, was one of the first times I went scuba diving with my father, getting to see the world from a different perspective and everything becoming so silent and muffled, and you only hear like your bubbles and your breath, and it's just a very different perspective on the world than we get every day. And just seeing wildlife in their natural and true natural environment was a really special thing to share with my father. So.
Giving birth to my children. Yeah, because that was when I think my whole life changed in a really good way. And it was just the anticipation of, 9 months, planning to conceive and then carrying the children and then having the birth experiences. That was really life-defining and just, awesome. And the first time you get to do it for 2 other times, in my case, I got to, every time it felt just as special as the first time. Yeah.
First thing that comes to mind is I used to play Little League Baseball, and I was always pretty bad at it, let's be honest. Never hit a home run or anything like that, but except for this one time. I hit it way into the outfield, and all the infielders kept messing up, and so I got to run all the way around the bases, and I got an infield home run. I came back into the dugout, my dad was my coach, and he just lifted me up and looked at me with this big old smile on his face, and that just warms my heart every time I think about that.
I have a memory of my brothers. They passed away a few years ago, so it's a memory of them when I was younger. We were playing around. We were actually having a pillow fight. We put mattresses on the floor and just ran around that, and that's a memory that just stays in my head always, you know what I mean? Whenever I'm down, I think about that, it makes me happy, So, yeah, that's an easy one.
I don't know. I think probably when they told me my mom when my mom's cancer went away.
My most cherished memory, having my first child. That was my most cherished moment. To actually give birth to a beautiful daughter. Yes, that was it. That was my most cherished one. I have 4, but your first one is always the most special one that you was actually able to create. Yes, that was it.
My most cherished memory would have to be winning state championship at the high school football game. That would have to be the most cherished one, yeah. Southeast, down in Florida, 2013-14 year. I played quarterback, wide receiver, cornerback. I played offense and defense, so coach had me pretty much everywhere, all over the field. It was emotional because it's been a while since the team actually won a championship, and the feeling was just, we had a couple injuries that, it was a lot of tests going on, but when we finally, at the end of the game, when we finally held up the championship, it was worth every bit of trouble we ran across. I got to do it for my team. I got to do it for my family. That's what I'm all about, honestly. That's how it felt. It's like I accomplished something for my family. That's for sure.
Yeah. So can I get personal? So my mom kind of went crazy. There's a period before that where I think she was okay, and I think one of my most cherished memories was I was really, really little, and we were just taking a nap, and I just woke up in her arms, and I kind of think of that she kind of turned into a really bad person, and she struggled with mental illness really bad and wouldn't get help, but that memory was kind of before everything went south, so that's kind of one of my cherished memories.
My most cherished memory, I want to be honest, I have no idea what I've done in my life. I have no memories. Yeah, no man. Sorry, I'm letting you down.
Most cherished memory? I guess having children. A new experience.
My most cherished memory is dying at 9. I was hit by a car when I was 9. For a period, I was unconscious on the ground before returning to this planet and going home. I was instructed when I left to return home. I did not know where home was, but the Creator told me, Mom. And I woke up and ran to Mom. That's my most cherished memory. Yeah, that's my thing. I don't think that led me to a God. I do think it's what has led to me being more spiritually in tune and aware than others. Having that experience showed me that there was more to this plane, and that had led me on kind of a search or a quest, if you want to call it that. I don't think it's a quest. I really think it's an assignment that you receive, and everyone's is different, but I became aware of my assignment much after that death.